Greetings, everybody. I love the little crack of the voice there, but welcome to One More Lap. I've been saying I was going to do it. Yeah, I did racing with Jesse Rosinski before, long form. And if you paid attention to that and checked it out and you followed me here, I appreciate it. If you have no idea what the hell that is, don't really care. But one more lap's here to the evolution. I think it's going to be a lot better. It's going to be short form, a lot less thinking, a lot more bluntness, a lot less stats. Because who the fuck needs to hear that? In all of its honesty, I promise I'll try not to cuss as much as I do in my other show, but, can't help it. That little Jesse Rosinski show there. You see the logo, it's the other one. I try not to cuss as much. But today we're, going to kick it off starting talking about, coming out of Daytona last night, or whenever you're watching this, so it's not last night anymore. But, just some key takeaways coming out after the season. That we've seen. I saw people talking about, in the post-race, people talking about, momentum and everything, and if people get it back, and they're talking especially like William Byron or something. Like, I just, personally, I don't like, them going out there, especially after a plate race. Things don't ever work out really there. One bad move can take out half the field. So I don't like it when they're like, can you get your momentum back? Do you think their momentum will be affected? Like, no, I don't think any of their momentum will be affected. Negatively because of a plate race. Like, we all know how those normally end up. I think that's a dumb question. I think that, a lot of them will be okay. That didn't have, crazy, runs. But, there are some takeaways from it, obviously. Say what you want about it. But, technically, Larson got into Bubba and Bubba went down. But, so it's on Bubba. But, again, that's just one of those, weird plate things. You got bumped in the wrong spot. Air. Yell at me for kind of, taking Bubba's side. But plate racing, we've seen Recchi do a lot worse. It sucked to see it happen, but, that one didn't look as egregious as I saw some people try to make it out. So, sucks, but it is what it is. The really big, thing, two big things coming out of it is having, the finale there for the regular season. Like, I get it. It brought excitement to it, but after all the races, and it is cool to, before I go farther, that the regular season starts and ends at Daytona. That was pretty cool. That was acceptable to me. I just don't like, because anything could happen. And then, again, we could have saw, Bowman get knocked out because he got, caught up in someone else's wreck, get knocked out by someone if, like, let's say just Cody Ware won or someone that didn't. That was way back, back in the 30s to come in and do it. I do think, because it's such a wild card. So that's why I'm not a big fan of it, to see someone that's at least been, in the top 10, a few, hovering around that area, to be in position to make it on points, to get knocked out that way. I do think that diminishes from the whole entire process for NASCAR. I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think, they need any help diminishing, credibility and stuff, but I don't like that, at all. It does add a hell of a lot of, stuff to it, and I was really looking for, Blaney to get it. I really was. And, by the way, Alex Bowman, if he hears this, you owe Blaney something. Because if you counted what, there was like 5 guys right there that would have knocked you right out if Blaney didn't get it. And I was hoping he was going to, just because I like Blaney. But, that was really, that's the big thing. I don't like how that can, completely throw everything off. I think, it brings in, an excitement level again, but, I don't know what it adds to everything, but it definitely gets viewers, I imagine, which is good and what they need. But, that's why people don't like, especially when they took the top 30 thing out of there. Think of the guy that's damn near last in points wins and then knocks someone out that's 16th, in points. Probably even higher, regular season wise. I don't think I have that one here on my phone, anymore. But, think about that. Do I have regular season? Yeah. You go to regular season points. Bowman was 9th. Think if he got knocked out. Because he didn't have a win just by someone in the 30s winning the race. Buescher was already 10th, but he didn't have a win. All the people won, so he, didn't get to move on, because of that. And I think that really does hurt, NASCAR in the long run in some ways. So, I think they need to fix the whole entire thing. I've heard a lot of people, talking about it. you know, about needing to change it, I'm not sure. Like, I'll have to think on what I think, but I think, it can't hurt to do it and, figure something out, just because that would have really, sucked for guys that were up there, what did I say, ninth in the regular season points, not make the playoffs because they got eliminated, even though they were in on points, because like a Cody Ware won, like if Ryan Preece or Chris Buescher won, we've said their names a lot this year. Chris Buescher 10th in the regular season points, that, would have been okay for me. That's completely, different story than a Cody Ware, Justin Haley, some of those further back that we haven't really said their name at all in any good way. Suddenly getting one at Daytona, knocking someone out. I just thought that'd be stupid. Don't like it. Nothing we can do about it. But, that's the way it is. So we got to see how that works out. And then the other takeaway from it all, correct me where, I'm wrong or what you feel. Please comment somewhere, wherever you are. But, Tyler Reddick. Like, I don't know. Like, Larson's looked bad, but he's had, these decent moments lately. Since the double, and I was at the Coke 600. I'm like, man, he's going to be driving pissed, and that's either going to work out really, really good or really, really bad. And we've seen what's happened since then. It's been very, very cataclysmically bad for Kyle Larson for most of the time since he tried the double this time. Again, look at my Indy cars he wrecked. They wrecked the, Coke 600. Like, he just had so many, like, straight things. I think he got the yips or just something out of it. Which is completely understandable. But, he's been down, but, he hasn't looked as bad as Tyler Reddick. Like, Tyler Reddick, like, in all these interviews, just looks done. Like, to me, it looks like he's completely over. Like, it looks like he's completely just done, with it. And, that's absolutely crazy to me. Because, we all know how cocky he could be and, how confident he is in himself. And he just looks down and out. Again, he could turn around and, spin around. That could be crazy after this first race. But he, in Darlington, because he likes, riding up against the wall and doing all that. Like, things can turn around. But, he hasn't looked confident at all. Bubba getting a win didn't help. But, Bubba, before I get hated on for saying anything about Bubba, he did win Indy. And you can't take anything away. What he was saving fuel, he was maintaining the lead, from Larson. He got the restart. Like, he did all that stuff. But I'm going to go back to 2020, I think it was. When Denny definitely didn't have the faster car, Kevin ran him down but couldn't get any closer because of the aero package there. Once you're up front, you're golden there. And why did Kevin win? Because Denny blew a tire in the lead. Just like, why did Bubba get up front? Because Logano won his problem. Like, the aero package there absolutely sucks. All you have to do is get up front. And you can say, but Larson last time I checked, everyone else was saving fuel a lot. Larson wasn't, so he just got to drive through everybody. That's a completely different scenario. I'm not taking anything away from Bubba. Why? Because he had to do to get up there. He had to be in position in the first place. But, he's just looked like Bubba since then. That's why I don't know, I like the road course better almost, even though everyone just sucked. On late research, they just all ran each other over, which isn't racing. Like, any schmuck can do that. But, Tyler Reddick, I don't know if Bubba winning hurt even worse for him, but he just has not looked right. Correct me. Tell me where I'm wrong. I hope you do. But Tyler Reddick's looked, I'm not even going to say junk, but he hasn't looked good. Confidence-wise, I'll say he's looked junk. It's not Tyler Reddick we all know, so I don't know what the hell's going on in there, but going in to the playoffs, again, starting off with the track, he should be able to do very, very well at just because of his driving style. Darlington, up against the wall, high, wide, and handsome. Just going around there pushing into the limit. That's his thing. But, coming in 14th, 1 point below the cut line, starting out, I just, a good race, I think, would do him a lot. But, I don't know. He has not looked right. There's places he should have done fantastic that he didn't. Now, granted, could that be 23-11? Being a little more off. Trying to figure things out since, they got the extra car. Damn, look at RFK. They did the same damn thing. Look how slow they started out. And we've seen them, especially, Brad, given Priest's team, everyone trying to learn each other and everything, they figured it out, though. They've been looking a lot better. Priest came out the gates good, and everyone's progressively looked better throughout, the season they've gotten better. Reddick, he hasn't. He's been very, mundane. I guess is the fuck. See, I tried. I guess it's the word. It's been just blah, and I don't know what's up with it. I hope he does okay. I hope a lot of people do it, because I do like him. I don't like the way he left RCR. I thought that was junk. I don't know if it's karma coming back around or something, but he just has not. Again, go in the comments. Tell me what you think. If he's, if it's just me thinking he's looked junk, but I thought he's looked junk. Larson at least is, bouncing back from his long thing. Like, you can even see it in the body language of Tyler Reddick. Like, he doesn't seem checked into it. And I'd expect him to be higher than that. But, we'll see how things go again, going into Darlington. Race 1 in this round. Barry, Reddick, Dillon, and Bowman are all below the cut line. I think Bowman will be okay in that group, personally. He's had, consistency. He's run up there. He hasn't gotten a lot of the finishes, but, he's still up there, 9th in the regular season points. So, I think that'll be okay, especially as right now, Bowman being 5 back. From the cut line. So he's only like 6 positions away from making it. And, the way I think SVG will make it because there's road courses. And he does look like he's improving somewhat on, some ovals, but he didn't drive on an oval until last year, which everyone seems damn forget, which hurts my head. Like, he came in and did this thing, road courses in this car and stuff that people have been driving the cars for years, better than them. He never saw an oval until last year. Leave the man alone. He'll figure it out. It needs more than 10 minutes to do that. But I think Cindric will be in danger, really, the only other one. Yeah, just because I don't think he has the most consistency. I think Chastain always figures it out. Or Bubba. I don't know, because Bubba doesn't look, he looks better off than Reddick, but he doesn't look like he's fully, there all the time. But I don't think Dillon, Josh Berry, just because, the Wood brothers haven't looked good. Since that win, they've had a few, cool off time, but I think this track will be good for him, so we'll see what he could do in Darlington. But, that's really the moral of the story. We need to fix, some of the things, because I don't think that, someone like Cody Ware could have came in and knocked someone out that actually deserved it. Top 10 regular season points, 9th? He deserves to be in the playoffs. It would have sucked to see someone that had no reason to be there, if like a Ty Dillon one, to knock them out. Especially when Chris Buescher didn't make it. He was 10th in the regular season, but all those people won. He's not in. And that's the way the cookie crumbles right now. Not saying it's a good thing, not saying it's a bad thing, just saying you should comment and let me know. And that's where I'm going to leave this first one. I'm going to try to get some shorts out a lot more. We're going to talk about more stuff. We'll be back more often. I hope you liked it. Follow all the socials. One more lap on everything. Make sure to check out 2146media.com. It's the website. It's pretty damn cool. Appreciate your weeks. Comment, share it. Peace.